Yeah, like once again, back in the house. I said, dang, I had a good show last week with the judge, and this Monday, some things did not go according to plan, so I just decided to come on and bless y'all once again with some information. And a lot of things been going on in the week. You can't never put your head down because something always happens this week. So with that being said, let me bring in my brother from the great state of Texas. Well, Texas, but he's not from Texas. But there he is. Hey, how you doing, brother?
Yo, peace. What's going on, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm just getting off work, but I said it's time for me to come back to the forefront, and cause so much stuff been going over the last 2 weeks. Hmm. Well, not
Right.
last, no, last few days, not weeks, last few days. Forget
Mm-hmm.
weeks. Um, what do we got? We got the Minneapolis psyop. We got the Asian persuasion. We
Right.
got the psyop at the Capitol. And we got the gun control, and we
Check.
got a lot of things going on. Things are going on all over, protests all over the world.
Check.
Um, that being said, how you doing today? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm just out here chilling in Texas, man, enjoying this weather. You know,
Okay, how's the weather?
it's pretty good. It's like 86 right now, but it don't feel like 86, which is weird. On my phone it say 86, but it don't feel like 86. So maybe it's cooling down.
Well, I
But it's
mean,
sunny out. As
well,
you can see, I'm outside.
whoa. As you can see, he's outside, then he's gone. Hey, oh, I sent you a link. Hold on. Yeah, I sent you a link, brother. Um, at 7:25. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where he went, but I'm still waiting on you. We needed some um wisdom in here, so or some meeting of the minds. Um, so I said, okay, um, yeah, Bishop, come on. I don't know what happened to Shaq, but yeah, come on, so we can get this thing started. I don't know if they knocked him off or what. Let's see. Honey. Hey, how you doing, bro?
How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing okay. Glad to have you back. I told you I was gonna get you back sooner or later. So, with that being said, this is Bishop Scott. Um, he's a guy who, he's over their age, but sometimes you still gotta listen to him because he's not your typical everyday pastor trying to pimp the pulpit.
Let me get. I'm gonna put you on my. I'm gonna put you on my pad. I can see you better. Wait a minute.
Okay, gotcha. And he's back.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, man. That's crazy.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
And
Can you hear me?
yeah, hold on for a
Yeah,
minute.
I hear you.
I'll let him get on. All
Okay.
right, Bishop, you good?
Yeah, I was gonna put you on my iPad. I can hear better that way, but I'm fine.
Okay. Well, yeah, I brought Shaq along with us today.
Hey, Bo Shack, how you doing?
Oh, how you doing tonight,
Oh, not bad.
Bishop?
How about you?
Oh, I'm doing it, man.
Oh, that's
Man,
good. Let me
Texas,
switch
man.
my. Let me plug in here. Let me plug in my cable in here so I can charge this thing while we're talking. So you don't lose me. Okay, here we go. I'm
Well,
ready.
yeah, at first it was supposed to be me and you, but I had told him, and then if I had to run back out, I said I don't want to miss the opportunity, so I just brought both of you. I meant to call you back and tell you, but I just said you'll just see it.
That's
But
no problem.
that's fine. So I was explaining to Shaq, we've got a lot of things that have been going on last week and a half, and wow, I mean, every time you turn your head, it is nonstop action. So um, there was one thing that a brother talked to me that you said today, and I wanted to bring this up because I didn't see it, but I have to go back and look at it. And he was saying that you said that the black misleaders in Georgia by kind of like basically making a charade at the All-Star game, the MLB All-Star game. They
Yeah.
moved that business out, but really, to tell you the truth, they really didn't move the business out because really by them moving the game to Colorado, they're gonna get a kickback off that.
Well, my whole take on the whole thing is there's a lot of hypocrisy here. If the MLB, the Major League Baseball, wanted to really stand for the rights of those because of racism and because of the voting rights and the Georgian bill and all of that, and they really were protesting and doing this in order to make a statement that racism was wrong. To me, it seems hypocritical that instead of you choosing Philadelphia, Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, or some other predominantly black city within the MLB, the Major League Baseball, you go to a wealthy white area, Denver, Colorado, and have the All-Star game. How can you say in good conscience that you're doing this because there's racial injustice and we're standing with the black, but you're saying bye-bye millions of dollars that would have come to Atlanta? Now, the hypocrisy of it all is, though Georgia may be red, Atlanta, Georgia is solid blue. Their mayor, their police commissioner, everybody of any great power and influence is in Atlanta. So you penalize the one location that gave you your last two senators, that got you a majority in the Senate. You penalize Atlanta, Georgia, and you reward Denver, Colorado, who doesn't need that kind of money, but it's all for the sake of racial injustice. How hypocritical can you be?
Let me let
How
me let me say
hypocritical
something
can you
about
be?
that. Let me say something about that. And it's under the guise of racial injustice, but really, what it's really about is we want our illegal immigrant people to be able to vote. That's really what it's about. And they're gonna put a cap in it, and now we're gonna be upset because Bishop. All I know is when last time I checked, the only group of people who don't need an ID to vote are people who are undocumented.
And also,
Go ahead.
it's a strategic measure to destroy the so-called black economics that we have, the little bit that we have our foothold on. They're trying to crush the black economics. If you understand what they're doing too, so they're going to crush ours and raise up, like I said, others. You know what I mean, Asian, which they already had a foothold. The little money that we had, the little economics that we had, due to this so-called pandemic, he had a lot of black-owned businesses that suffered. Now, what subsidies from the government did they get to replenish them to help them bail them out so they can, you know what I mean?
I don't
I agree
know.
completely. I
In
agree
New
with you.
York, they got $15,000 worth. It's about undocumented workers get a much of $15,000 payout.
Well, everybody, it's clear. We remain at the bottom. We're always going to be at the bottom of the totem pole, no matter who comes behind us. They always push ahead of us, just like we're in a DMV line. Somebody tries to bull guard you, tries to move ahead of you, tries to usurp where you are, and we just, once again, we're allowing them to do it. One of the biggest outcries in support of this measure by the MLB is the black community. They're the ones. Yeah, you're right. You all are right. Yeah, but you're hurting your own city. You're hurting your own community. Once again, it's always us, and it's always. I like what Shaq said. It's always aimed at our economics.
Well,
That's
I,
going
Yes.
I
to
got
never
something to say.
be equal in a wealth gap.
I got something to
They're
say.
going to never make us equal with them.
I'm going to say something here. I'm going to give you a little insight.
Mm-hmm.
Really, to tell you the truth, Bishop, I'm going to tell you, the majority of black folks don't worry about it because the majority of black folks ain't watching MLB baseball. Number two,
But that's true.
now let me throw some here because I want to show you how you talk about hypocrisy. I call it hypocrisy on steroids. Number two, this is the thing. Hey, Monique, how you doing? Look,
Hold on, BJ. I wouldn't say you can't say majority blacks don't watch baseball because that's untrue. We grew up on baseball. It's
no,
just the mainstream media, they promote basketball and football to blacks,
oh,
but we grew up on baseball. I
yeah.
started
That's why
off
I'm making
playing
a point
baseball
here.
for
I was a
anything.
boy. When I was a boy,
I
that
understand.
was American sport.
We go to them games.
I got you. I know we go to games, but what I'm bringing up the hypocrisy is they are saying that we care, but I'm saying, wait a minute now. If you go look at the statistics of Major League Baseball, it ain't never probably about 3 to 5% of Black Americans that play. Most of it are Dominicans, Cubans, Latinos, and others, and mostly white. So we're not even the majority of people representing baseball no more. They don't flooded us out of there. We did grow up on baseball. You're right. A lot of us did. But we don't got kind of pushed to the back of that. That's all I'm saying.
But let me say this.
Yeah,
But
I get you.
Bernard, let me add though that may be true, and in many cases it is. Because when I was growing up, I'll be 70. I'm 70. This is my 70th year in this world, and I know just like Shaq was saying, when I was growing up, baseball was the sport. It was not football. It was not baseball. I mean, basketball or any other sport. They were popular, but they never were as popular as baseball. There you go. St. Louis Cardinals. There you go.
We
Yeah.
go hard. I mean,
Philadelphia Phillies. But let me say this. But beyond that does affect the black community is the fact that millions of dollars that would have been fed into black businesses in Atlanta now are going to be fed
Mhm.
into white businesses in Denver. That's where its impact. Whether we go there in droves or whether we go there one at a time, the economic aspect of it. Once again, it's economy. It's the wealth gap. They're going to keep that wealth gap going until we're no longer even a consideration. And that's where I have a problem with. Not so how many people go to baseball games, but rather the revenue that would have come out of the All-Star game
Mm,
being in Atlanta, Georgia.
right. Now,
Right.
let me ask Bishop a question because he's a man of a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
When can you let me ask, let me see, what's the question? When do you remember when they first started the switch when, because us as black men and stuff, we were into the construction trade and into plumbing, into the landscaping trade. When did you see that shift? Because that was us. We was into that. That was our thing. We was into that thing.
I tell you the truth, a lot of the shifts came about when the civil rights movement came into being.
Mm.
Immigration came into being, and now we no longer wanted those type of jobs. We wanted to go off the
Mm-hmm.
college. We wanted to get to professional jobs. We wanted to become white collar folk, and we aspired to that. And we left those jobs
Mm-hmm.
open for those who are immigrants from basically Latin American countries. We left it open, and that's where I think
Mm.
integration was a two-edged sword. Yes, it wasn't meant to be what it became. It was not meant to destroy our community, but that's exactly what it did. When I was coming along,
Mm-hmm.
everything on my street was black. When I wanted to go to the barber shop, I went to a black barber. When I wanted to go to a
Mm-hmm.
doctor, I called Dr. Douglas. He was a black doctor. All the little grocery stores, Ma Pa stores, they weren't called Poppy stores then. They were called Ma Pa because there was my mother, my father that were running those kind of stores. Anywhere we went, hairdressing, we didn't go to no Korean or Vietnamese. They weren't over
Furniture
here. In
stores.
fact, we were fighting
My
them
granddad had a
in the
furniture
Korean
store.
War
He
and the
worked at the
Vietnam
furniture
War. They
store.
weren't over here.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, my granddad worked at the furniture store. He did, like you said, upholstery for the furniture and stuff, man. So yeah,
Yeah,
we missing all that stuff, man. We
we
got
do.
we got somehow we got, like you said, overruled out of that, man. You know what I mean?
I believe it, and that's where we are now. In fact, we're almost black. In fact, in some ways, and I know Bernard
Okay.
want to agree with me. we're almost back on the plantation days, where now everything that we get, everything that we have to go for, we have to go to the man for. Everything. I didn't go to no man to get my hair cut. My mother didn't go to no woman, a Korean woman, to get her hair done. She went to Miss Craig, who was a black woman down the street. That's when she went to get her hair done. And my grandmother, both grandmothers, went to the black hairdresser. Didn't go no Korean or Vietnamese to get whatever they had to get. But that's where we are now. So once again, we're not only dependent on white folk, we're dependent on everybody. And that keeps us at the bottom. That keeps us at the bottom, because when the Chinese come into our communities, and the Vietnamese, and the Pakistans, and the Indians come into our community, they get wealth from our community, then they leave our community and go back to their community, send for grandpa to come from China so he can start a store. Grandma comes from China so she can start a store. And brother Joe Ying, comes back from China to start his store. And we're still buying from now. We're buying from Ma, Pa, son, and grandson. And we still don't have nothing in our community.
Wow.
I don't know what happened, Bernard.
That's a hell of a, you know what? That's a hell of a strategic move.
It is.
To pull off on a race of people or a nationality of people, man. To put us in a vice grip. That's called the vice grip.
It certainly is.
You hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
This is not by coincidence. It's not
I couldn't hear you.
It was all a grand design.
Guys.
Welcome back, Bernard.
Right. But you know, a lot of people, they say that blacks are lazy. No, you got lazy people in each culture, each nationality, but strategically we were placed in the positions we are in. You can't say we got hundreds of thousands, millions of people, black scholars and professors and scientists, engineers, you know what I mean, carpenters, we got plumbers, electricians, computer technologists. That's a lie that they telling, man.
It is.
I'm back.
It's a lie.
Okay.
Hey, Bernard.
Yeah, I had to use the phone right quick, man. But I'm waiting for this thing to load, man. Because if it loads, I can bring up this article I want to bring you. But before I do it, I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with it. So Bishop, what is your thoughts on the BLM co-founder getting $1.4 million home, but also she owns 4 other homes? Your thoughts?
I think it's once again, I think it was a purposely done. You take the distress of a people, you take the persecution of a people, and you take advantage of that. You become wealthy. Look at all the businesses, all Amazon and Walmart and other companies and foundations that are pouring millions of dollars into Black Lives Matter, the organization. And who's getting rich from it? They said one of the founders actually living now in a $4 million home.
No, it's 1.4 million, but she owns 4 homes.
Okay,
all above 500,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and yet that's where the money's going. That's where the money's going.
Wow.
People take advantage of our suffering. They always have, even our own, take advantage of our suffering. Because to be honest with you, all of our organizations ultimately are co-opted by the other group. They're no longer our organizations. They are co-opted by the other group. Once again, we relinquish our authority and our position to somebody else.
That's right.
And that's why the position we in our neighborhoods, in our so-called, because it ain't communities, it's neighborhoods we're in, that we're being over-policed by these so-called European and white cops or others, Hispanics, Asians, or whatever cops are over-policing us as so-called Black Americans. And that is a problem. We need to figure out how we can get to the table and have that number switched to where we got a majority of so-called Black officers, you know what I mean, that's patrolling our neighborhoods. Because obviously they do not understand the language, do not understand the body language. No. They don't understand the mindset of our children or our men and women, and they don't care to understand. That's why they can easily shoot us down. As they don't even treat dogs like that.
Nope.
They can shoot us down in the street.
Oh, they love their dog. The dog lick their face.
They love the dog.
They kiss the dog in the mouth and everything else. They kiss the dog.
Hell, the dogs get more inheritance than they said. a dog probably get more heritage than we would get
Oh,
reparations.
yeah.
They'll leave their they leave look, they will leave their inheritance to their doggone pets before they
They do.
get that money to a black
All right,
organization, put it
That's
back
right.
into a
that
black organization when they die. That's sad. That's sick.
It is.
That's a problem.
you
But we
see
got to
that?
figure out how we can get to a level where we
Trying to
can be on the same page.
But you know, one of the things that we need to do, and I'm going to say this, Nick, and I was looking at something that took place in 2000, a meeting of the minds of some black leaders,
Hmm.
black leaders at the time. It was 2010, and Farrakhan said this. He said in 1945, when A. Philip Randolph went to Franklin Roosevelt to complain about things, his complaint in the complaint of the black leadership then was jobs and justice. He said then in 1963, during the March on Washington, the cry was job and justice. Then 20 years
Hmm.
later, when the second March on Washington took place, again the cry was jobs and justice. And now he said, now here we are in 2010. We got a black president, and the cry is still jobs and justice. Now I'm gonna go further because now we're in 2021, and the cry once again is jobs and justice. He said, wait a minute. He said, wait a minute. When are we going to
okay.
stop looking to the man to do something that he has not done ever, and now all of a sudden he's going to get a conscience? He said, when are we going to do? He's got all these great minds, pastors and educators and lawyers and congressmen and all this sitting at this table.
Hold on one second.
He said, what are we going to do? We take in over nearly $2 trillion a year. We keep it in our community 6 hours, and then it's back into the other community for the rest of the time. What are we going to do? Well, I was talking about the man. What are we going to do to force the man to listen to us? The man's not going to listen to nobody. Don't have no money. That's why the oligarchs and the wealthy are the ones that are in power, the political power, because they pour money into these politicians. They pour money into these interest groups and all of that type of thing. We don't pour nothing but our talk. We have a wonderful.
Let me read this to you. Let me read this to you. As protests brought out in the name of Black Lives Matter, the group's co-founder of real estate buying being snagging for $3.2 million in the U.S. alone, according to private wrestlers. Color also Bahamas an exclusive resort, ultra exclusive, where Justin Timberlake and Tiger Woods have both homes. Luxury apartment town on the beachfront outside Knoxville, a price between $5 million and $20 million. According to the self-described Marxists last month, purchased a $1.5 million home on Secluded Road, a short drive from Malibu and Los Angeles, according to the 70 square foot property. Oh, and plenty of windows with canyon views. The Tonka Canyon homestead, which includes 2 houses on a quarter acre, is just one of 3 homes Khan Colors owns in the Los Angeles area. Public Works show. Any thoughts on that article right there? You hear me?
Yep.
Oh
You hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. Yeah, you was
Any
going
thoughts
in
on
and
that
out.
article?
Yeah. You were going in and out.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the article? Well, sorry, but I mean, any
Well,
thoughts on the article? Her making $1.4 million. I mean, pimping ain't easy.
well, hey, it ain't easy, but I want to say this. Now, what is nationality or race?
She might be black, but I don't know. The other one considers herself to be Jewish, so I'm not sure. I have to look her. But she's a self-described Marxist. I tell you that.
Well, what I want to say this is when you portray your so-called community or your race of people to another people that's so-called in position of power, and they know the people in position of power know you're a traitor. Yeah, they're going to use you, but they're going to abuse you because they know, hey, you's a traitor. They know you's a traitor because you traded your own people. Eventually, they're going to get rid of you and or you know what I mean, because they know you're a traitor. They're going to use you as a puppet, yes. So this is for all so-called black activists that's teaming up with these, you know what I mean, that ain't for our community, for the black and brown community. You trying to sell us out and get some crumbs behind the scenes. They're going to expose you when they get tired of using you. That's what you do to a whore. When you get tired of using her, you throw her away.
All right.
And I really think sometimes the so-called leaders actually know this. So what they do is they get the most for themselves while they're in a position of authority. Because they know they're going to be bumped out. They know that the other group is going to co-opt the whole thing and going to end up being in charge. So while we still have a little bit of muscle, while we still got a little bit of say, let's make the most out of this, get the most out of it. So when we're finally kicked to the curb, at least we got ours. I got my little $1 million home out of the deal. When they finally do kick me out and take it over, I got mine. And it's sad, but that's where our leadership has gone now. It's all about self-aggrandizement. That's all it is. All of them. I don't care whether you talk about Sharpton or whoever you name. It's all about the Benjamins. Yes.
Let me say something about that. Self-aggrandizement is always the crash course to destruction. As you can see, the exposure is coming out of this. We've been talking about BLM. I've been talking about BLM for 2 years or 3 years.
I'm sorry.
So it's all coming to the forefront now.
Yes, I know. And like you said, and all their business, the stuff they did is coming out. And guess who's gonna be left with the smoking gun in their hand?
Yeah,
us as usual.
Now, I want to touch on a subject because it just happened last night. The thing in Minnesota with Wright, that's his name, Wright. Now, this was a kind of a striking for me because a lot of people don't know. Just the night before in Portland, Antifa burned down a police building with the police in it. So set it on fire with it in at least. Not burned down, but set it on fire. Okay. So once again, what happened last night. Now Joe Biden was in the office, the Oval Office today, or White House, whatever. He said, and he said that is no justification for looting. I said, sound familiar? Yes, he does.
Trump said the same thing too. Now,
yeah, but Obama
the losing starts, the shooting starts.
Yeah.
So they all for law and order.
Well, they're all for law and order. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say something, but really, only thing I would give Trump credit on, he talked about it all the time. They're gonna talk about what happened with Dwayne Wright, but they're not gonna talk about what happened in Portland the other day when they burned that police station. Okay, so and it's going on every week. Protests going on all around the country. Okay,
right.
People protesting everything all over the world. Really, I mean, whether it's protesting vaccine, politicians, whatever, all types of protests coming on, right? But
hey,
I'm
I heard something about the Miranda 46 or something like that.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Okay. Yeah, I was listening to an old podcast and they was talking about it. They got in depth with it, yeah.
But I'm just saying that I look at this thing and I think it's mighty convenient they're doing it during the George Floyd trial. So I think they might be trying to rig this jury or they're gonna do something different. The trial's supposed to end this week.
Yeah, well, the judge, he spoke on it today before, and he said he didn't see no reason why. He said things go on through trials all the time, and he was confident that the jury that they pick, that they have confidence that they can get the job done outside of what's going on. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe he changed. Maybe he'll change later. But he was standing on that. Hey, this trial got to continue to go on, and the jury, you know what I'm saying, is they understand, the severity of, the verdict in this trial. So we'll see.
We're going to see. We're going to see.
It looks strong for the prosecution, but like you said, my thing is always, and we got to understand this. we're looking at the trial, and everybody worldwide is looking at it through video and audio, right?
Right.
So we actually get to break it down and listen to the analysts and all the specialists behind the scenes. We get to see that. The jury don't get to see that. So we got to remember, the jury can only rule on what the judge agree on, that the evidence that they can rule on in this particular charge. So
Right.
all
Right.
this can just be a show and tell for us, as a, like you said, like a live show, like a live show for us to see, but we don't get to see what the jury actually get to rule on, all the evidence that
You know
they're going
what?
to have to rule on.
You know
That's the
what?
trick.
And some
You
of
know
that
what?
stuff is being hid from them. It's being
You
kept
know what?
from them.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You
Yeah.
know something? Judge did send me an article a couple of days ago of the record in article writings of what they were saying, and he was saying this is what they say here, but the media portrays it a different way. So that is very interesting.
Right.
Oh yeah, they're
That's
gonna
what I'm
portray it their own
saying.
way.
We get the commentary on it. We get it from the analysts from the outside, and we get to talk with each other and commentary on it and say, hey, yeah. But the jury is not necessarily get to see all that. They just get to
No,
see
you're
what's
not supposed to see
inside the
all that,
court.
really.
Right? Yeah, that's true. But they only even though we get to see it, so our verdict is going to be different than the jury, because the jury can only rule on a certain amount of evidence that the judge allows
Right.
in this particular charges in this case. So, you know, the prosecution looking strong right now. So we just have to wait and see.
The problem I see is this: they gave him an avenue by having the 3 charges: 2nd-degree murder, a 3rd-degree murder, which is manslaughter, or manslaughter. The 3. Now, of the 3, manslaughter would be the least amount of time. I believe in my heart of hearts, somehow or another, manslaughter is going to be the thing they choose. I don't know why I believe that.
Yeah, cause see, in this trial now, I don't know. You have to ask the judge or somebody else that's more. But even when the verdict come out, don't the jury have to rule on what charge they're going to charge him with too? Like after, if they charge him, if he found guilty by the jury,
right,
they would still
the
have to
ones who
rule.
say, they're going to say either 2nd-degree, 3rd-degree,
Okay,
or manslaughter.
see,
one of the 3.
okay. That's
And
gonna
they
be tricky
decide which
too.
one of the 3.
Okay, that's gonna be tricky too.
Yeah, because if they think that his drug thing had anything to do with it, that's going to knock it down to the man just contributing to his death, not being the one who actually caused the death.
Right.
See, that's where the tricky thing is going to come in.
Man. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. These grand juries will decide the charges. Yes. Like I said, man.
But
Gavin, you're right. Hey, shout out to G Root 2786. Gavin Rashad.
What's
Please
up?
donate to
What up,
Gavin
Gavin?
Rashad Esquire. Please donate to his channel and watch his show. He's been doing a great job of putting up some great content. So thank you, Gavin. Where you going? Where did Bishop go? Oh, here we go.
I don't know. Bishop.
Sorry, man. But anyway, what I'm saying is,
I'm like you.
It gets off. And actually, I would not be surprised it gets off, because one thing about a case, they didn't say that you don't have to murder George Floyd. They just said you have to have the evidence. If you don't have the evidence, the case can be thrown out anyway.
Right.
So there you go.
Right.
Well, I think that manslaughter is going to be where there's going to be the thing that we have to look at, because manslaughter only means that you contributed to his death. You were not the cause of his death. 2nd-degree implies that you caused his death. 1st-degree means it's premeditated. You meant it for him to die. They didn't put that up on there, because I think a good argument could be that he did actually mean for him to die. But they knew that was going to be hard to prove. So they said, let's go to 2nd-degree, that he was the primary cause of his death. 3rd-degree means that he did more than what was necessary that caused his death. Manslaughter is that he didn't directly cause the death, but he contributed to it, because the man was having all kind of health issues, and your knee on his neck did not help anything. That kind of thing.
Okay.
So I think it depends on how the jury will take it. The defense, that's their only defense, really. That's the only defense they can have, because the video is clear. So all he can do is just put a little doubt about how this happened and how much of an impact did that on the neck causing. Nobody can tell me if you keep your knee on somebody's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds that's not a deliberate move for that man to die. Nobody can tell me that. Man bleeding, he was bleeding. All kind of other secretions from his body was seeping out. You know,
Well, one of the prosecutors leading star witnesses that they was on the stand today. He testified that due to the certain circumstances of this the call and arrest, it didn't warrant them to even put him in that prone position. He wasn't resisting arrest. He wasn't belligerent or nothing. So and especially to put him on the street
and they had him in the car
and to crush him on the concrete like that, it was not even necessary to even put him in that position at that time. He was compliant. You had already handcuffed him and he was already under arrest. You was just trying to get him in a vehicle to transport him, I guess, to
and he was in the
station.
car at first. He was in the vehicle. They took him out of the vehicle.
Right. He was stating that he had medical issues. So what they said immediately, like they supposed to did, protocol, call medical unit to come in and check him and see. You can't make that observation on your own as a police officer or whatever to say that this guy is faking. Protocol is you're supposed to call and let the paramedics rule that if it's serious medical conditions or not.
But they didn't do that. Well, even that woman that was from the fire department, remember, she approached him. She wanted to check his vital signs, and Chauvin took out mace on her and threatened that if she got any closer, he was going to shoot her in the face with mace.
Right. I think the prosecutor's going to. I think he's leading up at the end. I think he's going to follow. I think he's going to close out with the fact that if he can prove that Chauvin knew George Floyd and he may have some type of vindictive vindicate against Floyd. But that's going to be hard to prove.
Yeah, because they were hostile to each other on the job. They weren't anything considered friends. They were not friends at all. If anything, they were kind of competitive and even somewhat hostile. He was toward Floyd. They had a bad relationship on the job. There was no congenial relationship. They had a bad relationship, according to people that knew them both. So I think you're right. That's one of the factors, that he knew the man before, and he didn't have a good relationship with the man, even before this thing happened.
Well, I've got some interesting things to say. Not so much in this case. I don't know, Bishop, I wanted to ask you something a little off topic, but it's a question that I want to ask from a bishop. This would be a good question to ask you. Mm-hmm. So Saturday Night Live, there was a skit with a rapper named Kid Cudi. He was wearing a dress.
Okay.
I saw it. But he came to straight, and I'm sitting there saying, we realize how we're getting played as black men wearing these dresses and dressing around like buffoons.
I really think that once again, we've always been used for entertainment, and we've always been willing to be used. No matter how we had to be used for entertainment, we were used for entertainment. And let me say, like me talking about it on my program every Wednesday, this is a brainwashing thing. We want to be on the good side of the white man, no matter what that means. Mm-hmm. We don't want them to be angry with us. We want to be in approval. This whole integration thing, while we abandon ours and embrace theirs, because somehow or another there's something about us innately, because we've been under their thumb and their rule for so long, that we want to just be whatever we need to be. The Stephen Fletcher mentality still is alive today. We do it differently. We don't do the Amos Andy anymore, and all that kind of thing like we did during the time I was coming along. But we do the same thing. During my time, we had Flip Wilson, in Geraldine, that kind of thing. So this dressing up as women, dressing up, like mammies and all that type of thing. It's as old as we've been here, and it continues today. We do it with a little more class. We do it, Tyler Perry and Medea, and I mean, this is as old as
Martin Lawrence, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
they even got Wesley Snipes, and Vin Rames was in. Hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vin Rames and Wesley Snipes was in. I'm like, man, it's like
look at Wesley Snipes and that Wolves, some kind of mess he be in it with him and those two white actors, with that Hispanic actor and that white actor, Patrick Swayze, and all that mess. They were all dressed up as women and all that kind of mess. This is as old as I
Vin Rhames, he did one too.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. We do it all. We always doing it. We always jumping up, doing whatever it would take to make the white man happy. We'll do it. Tap dance, dress as women, put on blackface, whatever will make him happy, and we'll keep him off our neck. I guess that's we in our minds. We want to make them happy and keep them pacified, so maybe they'll get off our necks. Nothing that we've ever tried to do has ever got them off our necks, and nothing we will ever do will get them off our necks. We can be the greatest football player, basketball player, football, baseball player, the greatest actor known to man. Look what roles we win Academy Awards for a corrupt cop and a prostitute. That's what Halle Berry won hers for, a prostitute in Monster Ball. And Denzel Washington, with all his great movies, he wins it for Training Day as a corrupt cop.
Corrupt black cop at that.
Corrupt black cop. Once again, it's telling us something. That's what you win your reward for. Look at all the great movies that man played in. Glory. He didn't win nothing for none of that stuff.
I'm going to say something to you that I forgot to mention. Brother just texted me. And he said that the reason why they pulled him out of the car because he said he couldn't breathe. And there actually is another video of him in the car saying that he couldn't breathe. So actually, that's why they pulled him out of the car.
Oh yeah, but you're still supposed to render medical. If the dude say he couldn't breathe, he had told him if you look at the and we didn't get to see this, that's why the trial is good to go through this trial, so you can see all the evidence and you make a decision. But with the body cams, the different cops' body cams, they show when I think it's Thomas Lane and the other guy, they first showed up on the scene and they approached George Floyd at his vehicle. He was in his vehicle. They say he was like dozing off. Like the people that was with him say he was dozing off, in the vehicle. And they pulled up to the vehicle. The cop pulled up on 10. He said, the cop pulled up. Get your fucking hands up on 10. He was like, okay, officer. He was compliant, real compliant with the officer. You know what I mean? So they already had some type of anger against whatever the situation was. When they came up approaching it.
This is my
take. He told them.
And remember, one of the cops was actually David Chauvin's brother-in-law. That Asian cop was actually his brother-in-law.
This is my take.
He told the cops when he was in the car. Hold on. He said, I just got off COVID. He said, I just got off COVID. And he told him, I just got shot like this, man. Don't do me like this. I just got shot like this. My mama died, man, 2 years ago. I just got off COVID, man. I already had COVID. So he knew what the situation was going to be with these cops.
Okay. Now,
they still, like you said, violated his human rights and treated him worse than they would treat an animal.
Well, this is my take on this. Before I move on, I want to just say that also the store cup food needs to be put into question too. Their activities they got going on as well. But I gotta ask the big question. There's a campaign going on, Bishop, and you know what it is. Stop Asian hate.
Yeah.
Stop Asian hate. Now, the other day there was a black woman that was in New York, and she said, well, they arrested her for saying something to an Asian. You brought coronavirus to this country, and I think an undercover cop got her. So they got some provocateurs in here too with this Asian thing. But my thing is with this Asian persuasion and Asian hate. Yesterday they had a golfing match, and guess what? Voila! What do you know? An Asian won the Masters. How convenient. But this is me. The Stop Asian hate thing is a big farce. And they actually got $50 million worth of grants and stuff because they said they have been getting attacked. They've been getting beat. They're scared to walk down the street and all that other nonsense. And I told you, Bishop and Chaq, I've got a cure be all for all this. We go walk in to one of these Asian stores and say, look, try about what's been happening. We've been beating you up, brutalizing you. Got all this problem. How about y'all move out of the neighborhood and just give us a store back? That's all you gotta do. We buy the store from you,
Facts.
half off or whatever you want to do.
Facts.
And you can just leave because we don't want to keep on beating you and brutalizing you like they say we've been doing.
But
Make sense?
once again, everybody uses us. They're not going nowhere. In the street I live in Philadelphia, right here in North Philadelphia, there are 4 Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, Pakistan, that's all Asia, Indian, that's Asia, all those are Asians. Stores on this block alone. There are 4 of each on this block alone. They're not going nowhere. This is where they're getting their money. We drive into, we go in numbers into these stores, patronizing them. Though they talking about hatred, they are very obviously do not like us. Very obviously, the way they treat us, the way they act towards us, they'll take your money, but they're very rude to us. They'll start talking in Vietnamese or Korean or Chinese or Vietnamese or Arabic or Hindu and Hindi and all the rest of that. They'll talk all their different languages about us while we're being served. Take your money, do the job, and dare you to say something. They follow you in the store like you're going to steal something. You're there to patronize them. You're the only ones who are going to patronize them because they're in your neighborhood. They're not, the Chinese ain't coming there patronizing them in your neighborhood. They're getting their money from you. If anything, we've supported them. We supported their grandmama coming over from China. We supported the Filipino people coming from Philippines and the Vietnamese coming from Vietnam. We've helped you get your family here. Our family's starving to death. Our family's are poor as dirt mice, and we're supporting your family coming all the way across the seas, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, coming over here to America, and we're the ones who help you get here because it's our money that's getting them there. And you have a nerve to say we hate you. You benefit from us. You benefit from us. There ain't no white people coming in here into my neighborhood. I'm in North Philadelphia. That's all black. Who do you think is patronizing these people? Us. Their people don't even come in our town to patronize it. It's the black folk that are giving you the money. It's the black folk buying the wigs. Black folk buying the hair products. It's the black folk that's buying your Chinese food, eggs foo young and chicken fried rice. It's us that's doing it. Come on now. If anything, we've been your biggest supporters.
Hey, You know what I say, right? And I tell you this. I can say actually stop hate on us because I could probably put up 5, if I really wanted to right now, I could probably put up 5 videos of black folks getting beat by Asians.
Oh my God, there's no doubt about it.
You should, because that's a true fact, man. Like you said, I mean, come on, let's be honest, man. Like you said, like how many Asians you see coming into really black communities and doing anything back to school, any type of back to school programs for the black kids?
Nothing.
Even standing up when so-called blacks get killed in the neighborhood. They matter of fact, they don't even close their shops down here. They keep selling. Down here, when we was went through that storm thing in Houston, I mean down here in Texas, when we went through that snowstorm thing, and the power went out. Look here, Quick Trip was shut down. They power was shut down. They was kind of closed. The Kroger's, this Asian chicken and rice Wong was still open, still serving that chicken and rice.
Still making money off us.
Still making money. They was like the only the only store really was doing something besides like the major grocery stores. We had the gas stations that was really closed down.
Wow.
I said, wow.
See, but we hate them. But we hate them, right? We're making you money, even if we're tearing down our own stores, still buying your food.
Still buying it. Yeah.
Man,
that's right.
But what does that say about us? What does that say about us?
That's what we need to start doing. See, we need to start putting a tax on people that have stores in our community just like everybody else do. You need to, if you're gonna benefit off you got a store in our community, you need to put some money back into the community too.
That's right.
That should be a standard. We should have been established that standard. But we got people that want to be in positions of power for so-called black people, but they ain't doing that. They not standing. That's the standard you're supposed to put. You're supposed to put that standard. Hey, look here. If you're gonna try to make money off this community, you need to be finding a way to put money back into the community.
That's
Donate
right.
money
That's
back into
right.
the community. You know, that's it.
And
Like you
if
said.
not like Bernard said, BJ said, we either don't patronize you or we try to get the thing from up out of your hands into our hands. One or the other. But we should not be continuing to go down there, continuing to put money into their hands so they can take it into their community, build up their community, invite their families over, have a wonderful life. Many of them are millionaires because of what they did in our community. We actually have nothing to show for it at all. Nothing. Our money is completely gone out of our community. And yet we continually patronize them over and over again.
And you got the naysayers saying, well, hey, China, the Asian community,
before I leave, let me put up this video for you right quick. Hold on. Let me pull up the video. Trying to pull it up.
But what I was saying is, they say, oh, when them Asians was feeding y'all in the neighborhood, if they weren't there, y'all look here. We know how to make Chinese food and all other type of Italian food and make it better than they make it.
Yes, again, we can.
Give us that opportunity then. Stop playing with us.
And most time when we buy our food. Fried chicken.
Yeah.
French fries. Okay.
Right.
Coming up.
I mean, come on.
I know how to make egg rolls and all at home.
Oh.
Okay, do you see that?
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah.
It's no audio.
You see that? It's coming up.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? I'm female, so I want to see them. Are you serious? Yes, I did. No, I did not. Oh. Ask me.
Oh, wow.
I cannot believe you asked me. I was not stealing. No, I was not. You check my purse. Get off. Get off me. Are you're
Oh my God.
Bishop.
You're choking me. You're choking me. Just let me relax, baby girl. Just lay down, baby. Just relax. Please relax down. So he can stop fussing with you. But no, just calm down. Just chill.
Not really.
My shoe away. And I believe it's like.
All right, now I was giving you an example of what to the nonsense of the Stop Asian Hate, because I can pull up more videos. I can do a video of one slapping a woman in a restaurant and all that. Maybe I'll do that next time. But I was just bringing it up to you so we can dispel some of this notion.
Hold on.
But once again,
on the video.
But once again, we go by the white narrative, and we Al Sharpton and all of them were gathering together, said something about stop Asian hatred, stop Asian crime, and all that stuff. Once again, we fall right for the okie doke and champion the cause of people, knowing how they treat us, knowing what they do to us, knowing how they have abused us in all kinds of ways, both verbally and physically. Here we are standing up with them, arm in arm, kumbaya again, because the white man said it's wrong, and because we want to please the white man, We joined forces with them in condemning this black violence against them and ignoring the century-old violence they've had towards us. This ain't nothing new. How about the girl doing the Rodney King, that Korean that killed that young girl? Shot her dead. 15 years old the girl was. 15. Shot her dead. Nobody, we're supposed to forget about all the abuse and everything that's been perpetrated against us. We're supposed to forget all that. But you know,
okay. If we that bad, why do you keep putting stores in the neighborhood where it's
right, that's what
predominantly
Bernard's
black
saying.
then? If we that so bad,
Right.
I'm not understanding that. If we
Right.
stealing from y'all, stealing that cheap ass shit that y'all selling, why you keep putting stores in the neighborhood then? That
Hey,
$2 shit they be selling, man.
Because we keep on patronizing them. We need to boycott those stores. Stop buying from these stores. All we got to do is remember the 1950s when King and others down in Birmingham, Alabama, boycotted that bus company there in Birmingham for 384 days. They broke the back of that company. We don't do that kind of stuff no more.
Let me say something to you. Just last week, Donald Trump released a statement on his 45th office, his website or whatever, right? He said, if the companies don't stop being woke, boycott Coca-Cola, Merck, UPS, this boycott baseball, whatever, right? Baseball ratings went down, NBA and everybody ratings go down. So what you know white folks do when they say we don't want to be elected to, they just don't watch this shit or they boycott this shit. Okay?
Thanks.
We don't like me personally. Once the NBA started this Black Lives Matter shit and started supporting all this transgender nonsense, I said I won't watch you either because I don't really need to hear your social justice messaging. I really don't. Especially when you're talking about social justice for trans. Okay, because I don't think no man is going to man from the woman. I'm sorry. And the fact that WNBA women are actually saying they want to pass the Equality Act, that tell you they screwed them in the head too. But with that being said, I just wanted to say, this was very interesting. I'm glad. Let me give a shout out to you. I heard you say your mom was doing not so well. Hopefully she gets better. And
thank you.
So I just been trying to get you on. I said I get you for Wednesday, but please shout out your information on your show on Wednesday.
Okay, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have a show, Real Talk with the G-Man, Prime Time. Bernard is one of my always my primary guest, and sometimes my guest star on the program. I've had him on quite a few times just as a solo actor, actually. But he's always participating, always adding, always encouraging us. And Shaq, I want you to come on the program anytime. Once again, at 6 p.m. Wednesday evening, Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio 515 602 9655. 515 602 9655. Every Wednesday at 6 p.m.
And let me go ahead, Shaq, because I want you to shout out your information. Bishop, give out. Wait a minute. Oh. Bishop, give out your cash app.
Okay, cash app is G William $G William Scott. Let me see. Let me. I want to make sure I'm saying it right here. Wait a minute. Wait 1 second. Go on, Shaq. Give yours and I'll come back on that one.
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure, man, to come on and to brainstorm and to have our own think tanks, man, as black brothers. You know what I mean? Men trying to man up on our own terms, man, and not on the white man's terms or European terms and mindsets. So I always appreciate these platforms that I be on, the circles that we have created, man. We're actually using this social media and these big tech tools to our advantages. This is what we got to continue to do and not feed into, like you said, looking through everything through a European lens.
And just for information's sake, my cash app is $G William 67. $G William 67.
Well,
Thank you for the opportunity.
for those asking, mine is $1919. BJ, that's totally optional. Not asking. Thanks, Chaq, for the donation the other night, and Bishop, thank you for your continued as what you call service of 70 years. Sometimes it's good to touch back with an elder to find out what he's thinking of his man. You know.
Thank you for Bernard for the opportunity. Always love being on your show.
Yeah. And this Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Shaq 8. I'm gonna have a lady on that was there when BLM started on the ground.
Oh,
They
wow.
had the whole Ferguson movement. He got in touch with me the other day. We had a nice talk, and he wants some help to expose BLM. So hey, it's time to do some exposing.
We'll be there.
That'll be Thursday night, 9 o'clock, unless something happens before then. But with that being said, Bishop, stay up. Not condolences because your mom's still alive, so I can't say that. But I just want to say, I had so much stuff happen over the last couple weeks. People I know that have been dying, so that's condolences right stuck in my mind.
Right.
I've been condolence.
Thanks for your prayers and concern.
I've been condolence out. I just had a friend I grew up with. He got killed at the convenience store that night. So,
yeah, I'll be on the show time to time, man. That be me coming in from the 469, man.
Oh yeah, okay, I got you. Yep.
That's me. That's me. I'll be on.
Man, it's good being with you guys. I tell you.
Yeah, man.
Peace to you and your sister Rhonda Supreme. When you get a chance, tell her thank you for bringing me on Free Agent Radio, and hopefully I'll be able to go in the studio in Philadelphia soon enough, or in New Jersey, whatever. But that's fine. But I'm glad y'all was able to come on. Bless you, and just keep on pushing. Keep it fight, brothers.
Okay, my brother. Good night to the both of you.
All right. Peace.